And we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. As always, it is currently 8 a.m. It is 45 degrees outside right now with a high of 64 degrees today. So, I don't know. I guess light jacket weather would be the best way to describe it, but I'm not even wearing a light jacket. It's really more just a pullover, and I feel fine outside. It's pretty good weather out right now. So enjoy your day. Your commute into Tulsa, however, is going to be slow right now. Traffic is at borderline standstill, especially over there over 76th Street. So if you haven't already adjusted your route accordingly or you hadn't left earlier, you're going to have a tough time because it was like, again, it was slow and standstill when I came in and I got here at about 7:20 again. So be advised, your commute in is going to be slow and steady into Tulsa at the moment. So divert to 75 if you want to maybe get there a little faster. Granted, I don't know what the traffic conditions in 75 are. I know you can check it out on Google and all those other things, but how often and how regularly they're keeping those things updated. But for the most part, they're updated pretty well. But checking out here on the live stream, it's going to be slow. Now, moving on to local news. What do we got going on in the Owasso area again, Chad? I know we got the chamber thing and we have the Girl Scouts.
That's it. On Owasso's sides, that Girl Scout meeting is today. So if you're wanting to learn more about the Girl Scouts for your daughter, for signing her up, or anything really to do with, finding out information about it, check that out. Again, that's at the library. And then on the Owasso Chamber side, we have the monthly chamber meeting, which it has a guest speaker today, which is, hang on one second. It is Jake Crumweed, or Crumwide. I don't know how to exactly say his name, but he is the executive director of the Oklahoma Pop Museum. So that's really just a museum. I just looked it up. I didn't even know we had it. It's over by the Canes Ballroom, and it's just kind of celebrating all the local, movie, film,
So it's not a pop
Oklahoma.
music museum; it's a pop culture museum. So
Yes.
they have kind of the sites. The people listed on the site are people like Bill Hader of SNL and several films and
Olivia
TV shows.
Munn,
Olivia
a
Munn.
bunch of our singers, because it's just kind of find it weird considering we already have the the music museum, and that's basically kind of the same thing. Besides, kind of adding actors and television people in there as well.
Yeah,
So.
pop culture. That's kind of where we're going with. They wanted something recognizable over there by Canes, and my question would be, where's the funding coming for this type of thing? I don't imagine it. I can't imagine it generates a whole lot of income, but we'll see. That's me looking at it from a logical side and a financial side. I'm wondering where a lot of the funding comes for these things, but
Absolutely.
the city of Tulsa's not one to is one to burn money on stuff, and there's a lot of big donors and backers over there. That Guthrie Green area, they have some major old money donors over there, and they basically built that thing out of their own pocket, essentially. So keep that in mind. So maybe that's where a lot of the funds for this kind of stuff is coming from. So what else we got going on?
That's it this week. That is literally it. Nothing else that I can find unless somebody lets us know, calls in to the show and lets us know, or messages the show, because that's all I've got this week. So
All right, good deal. Well, in more national news, kind of going back to the border, the other day, the federal government asked the Alaska National Guard to activate and go down to the southern border, except the difference being they asked, and when they activated them, to assist the federal government, not assist the Texas state government. So we have two guard
units there.
two guard units doing conflicting jobs. Like, one is attempting to halt flow, while the Alaska Guard is attempting to assist the federal government with the flow into the country. So that's kind of a scary thing to think about. You have two units, two armed units down there who are effectively doing the opposite thing. Now, whether or not the Texas, I'm not down there. I don't know exactly what the action Texas is taking. We see them putting up razor wire and we see them, putting up more border wall. However, are they actually stopping the flow, though? Are the guardsmen allowed? Because we talked about yesterday, they just signed that bill where they're allowing guardsmen to actually defend the border. And what does that mean exactly? Does it mean they're allowed to go weapons free? Does it mean they're allowed to shoot and defend the border and keep these people out by using force if necessary? Or are we just saying they're allowed to yell, scream, and say nasty things to the people to get them to go away? So that is what I'm curious about, is what does that constitute? And then you go down there, and now you have two conflicting forces doing two different jobs. One facilitating, the other keeping out. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of works out down there. Mm-hmm. So, other than that, the other bit of news or big news that's going on is Tucker Carlson was in Russia. And it seems like he was going to interview, or has already interviewed, Vladimir Putin, getting a perspective on what's going on. I know a lot of higher-ups in the government did not want him going over there, did not want him conducting this interview. I'm hoping that it's not, I don't know if everybody's seen the movie called The Interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen, where he interviews, a comedy movie where he interviews the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. But I'm wondering if it's going to kind of be like that, where the people who are in Putin's inner circle basically give Tucker Carlson the questions to field, or if Tucker Carlson's going to have free reign to just kind of ask him what he wants. And I'm sure there might be a little bit of give and take on both ends, but I really hope that he kind of puts Putin's feet to the fire and asks him what's going on, what his objectives are for Ukraine, and why he deemed this necessary to do. I think that's an important thing to understand where they're at. And like I said, I'm sure, and even if Tucker puts his feet to the fire, is Vladimir Putin going to give honest answers anyway? Or is he just going to say the politically correct thing? The thing about Putin, though, is I don't know if he's a politically correct guy. Or he might be politically tactful is what I'll say. He's politically tactful, but the mind virus that is political correctness, and maybe a better word for it, just the cultural zeitgeist that has captured us here in the States, it's not like that in Eastern Europe.
No. They
don't have those cultural sensitivities that America kind of adheres to now. So yeah. I'll be interested to watch the interview. I think Tucker Carlson is one of the most important. Him and Alex Jones, I think, are two of the most important journalists of our time.
Yes, and I would agree with what you're saying. Like, with it in regards, is he going to say one thing and do another type situation? Because that's what you meant by politically tactful. Is like, is he going to be honest with this? Like, oh, this is what I'm doing, or is this more like a, World War II, like, Germany, Hitler situation, where just like, I'm not going to go anywhere after Poland. Mm-hmm. Promise.
Yes, yeah. Like, the most important thing to remember about people is people are not what we say, we are what we do. We are not what we say, we are what we do. So that's the most important thing to remember about any interview or any talk show that you listen to. You can be like, I want to be a better person. I don't want to be addicted to drugs anymore. It's like, yeah, but you're not what you say, you're what you do. And what you do is continue to feed your addiction. Or you continue to say what you think the public wants to hear, but you act this way in private life. So that's the crux of this. Now, the other thing, too, is Tucker, while he's over there, he also wants to interview Zelensky, which I'm sure nobody's going to have a problem with. But I would love to see this interview with Tucker and Zelensky, because I know he's going to. I don't trust this Zelensky guy at all. I think he's a political puppet and a political crony. We know that Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries. Like, now Ukraine was the greatest. They're the little angels, and there's nothing wrong with Ukraine or the Ukrainian government. Now, I would love to see Tucker be like, kind of hold his feet to the fire and say, hey, you were running one of the most corrupt governments in pre-war, pre-Russian Ukrainian war, and now people love you, and every day you're just asking for more money, more funds. Where is this stuff? Where's the money going? Where is the funding going? Mm-hmm. I'm sure that, like I said, there's definitely money and funds being sent to the battlefield, for sure. That's what I'm saying. But a lot of us who are more skeptical of the conflict just see it as a big money laundering scheme where somebody's pockets are being lined and Zelensky's probably one of them. So I would love to see him interview Zelensky as well and see kind of what's going on in this conflict. And let us know what you guys think. I mean, if you let me know if you think I'm wrong, and do you think Ukraine's the greatest country in the world, and there's no corruption or bad things happening over there other than just the mean, bad Russians coming in. So let me know. Like I'm always open to criticism. I definitely could be wrong, but from what I've seen and from my perspective on these things, I don't trust Putin, but I don't trust Zelensky either. And I don't know what this conflict is really about. And I would love to. I can't wait to see Tucker's interview with either of them. And maybe I don't think we're going to get to the truth of it, but at least maybe it'll help us understand a little better what's going on and get us into maybe the mindset, or even if we don't get into their actual mindset or the truth of what they're saying, we can determine for ourselves whether or not we believe through their decorum and through their body language what they're saying is true.
100%.
So that's what I'm excited for. I am excited to see him do that. Like I said, he's doing great work, and I think that he's the most important journalist of our time right now. So cool beans. Kudos to Tucker Carlson, and I hope he doesn't get hassled and haggled by the U.S. State Department when he comes back over here and tries to put those interviews out. So good luck to Tucker Carlson, and thanks for all of his hard work. Now, in more positive news, or more, maybe not positive depending on how you feel about Disney, but in more culturally interesting news or pop culture news, Gina Carano, who was a star, she was a former UFC fighter. She kind of pioneered the female UFC fighting championship. Like, she's a pioneer in that industry. She is also a star of The Mandalorian. She's been in a bunch of movies here and there. She was actually in the
Deadpool.
Deadpool. She was the one of the bad girl henchmen in Deadpool, the original one with Ryan Reynolds. And she was in The Mandalorian. She was what was her character called? She was
to be honest, I don't remember either. Said she was
the shock trooper, right?
Yeah, she was the rebel shock trooper or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even remember her name in the show.
Yeah.
That's how sad.
I know it's been a while. It's been a while. We didn't watch season 3, and she wasn't in season 3 because so she got unceremoniously fired for her tweets. She was making tweets about her.
You got the Roseanne treatment.
Yes, she made some comments about. She said her pronouns, back when the trans issue was just getting kicked off, like the transgender issue was kicking off. She said her pronouns were beep, boop, bop. It's a Star Wars. Like, she's making fun of R2. Like, she's like, my pronouns are beep, boop, bop, which is, it's funny. It's a funny, cute little tweet. But the woke Disney Corporation, trying to be as inclusive as possible, did not find. I'm sure a small minority of people there found it very offensive, and they were like, we got to get rid of her. And they pulled the trigger, and they unceremoniously let her go for a tweet. They didn't tell her in person. I mean, she found out over a tweet. She found, literally, she didn't know that she was not being asked to come back for season 3, except for over a tweet. Disney company put out, we will no longer be working with Gina Carano because of her vile opinions on Twitter, which they're really not. They were really Milli Vanilli of tweets. I mean, depending on what political persuasion you come from, like to us, they're just silly and goofy. To other people, they found them
extremely offensive. And it's very strange because she was originally plotted to do like a spin-off
her own show. It was called The Rangers of the New Republic. So they'd already had this stuff slated and ready to go. So they were like, we don't want to do Rangers of the New Republic. We're going to get rid of her and not pay her anymore. So we lost potentially a really, what could have been a promising continuation of a Disney series, because people didn't think that she was very tactful with her tweets, which is really, really sad. Now, what's really cool about this is, so she's suing, and Elon Musk has jumped on and said that he will help her pay her legal fees for this lawsuit. So that which also opens up a class action lawsuit for anybody who believes they have been unceremoniously fired by Disney for their political opinions, to jump onto this class action lawsuit and sue Disney. Now, who knows who won? I mean, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. I mean, he could probably fund this thing for as long as you need it to, but so can Disney. I mean, Disney has that kind of funds, but it's just going to depend on how. Because I'll tell you this, folks. Has anybody really enjoyed anything Disney's put out here lately? I mean, Marvel's gone downhill. Star Wars, I mean, The Mandalorian season 1 and 2. After season 2, it's really gone downhill. I know season 3 has terrible reviews. There's just nothing good. Disney's not producing anything of interest. I mean, and maybe it's just to me. I'm not their market anymore. But the problem is, nostalgia is everything, and they're trying to coalesce this group of kids who have no real interest in Star Wars because they didn't really grow up in the zeitgeist of Star Wars. Yep. The people that grew up in the zeitgeist of Star Wars would be people of our, I mean, it would be our parents' generation because they were the original
70s
Star Wars
was
nerds.
the original.
And then we grew up in the 90s, and like I said, we had our parents' nostalgia from it, and they all had the movies and stuff that you could watch. So the toys were always in the zeitgeist. They were always creating Star Wars toys.
Well, and then, of course, we grew up in the era of, we were like 10, then the 10 years old where the new episode 1 came out, which, looking back on it as an adult, it's not the best movie, but like I said, as a kid, like that movie was awesome.
Absolutely. So, and the other thing too is maybe it's just a marketing thing. Like maybe toys aren't really part of a kid's life anymore because video games are so popular. Like my nephews and my girlfriend's niece, they love video games. I mean, they're just hammering through video games all the time. Like I'll sit there and wonder if my nephews, I mean, they only play with toys when they're in the car traveling from point A to point B, it seems like. They don't really play with toys unless you're out playing Nerf guns or something. If they're not they're either gaming or they're doing school and they're back gaming. Like, I mean, I think toy sales. So maybe because I know Star Wars toys, since Disney's taken over, have just dipped. Like, nobody's buying Star Wars toys anymore. And I'm wondering if that's just because video games are more part of the zeitgeist, cultural zeitgeist now than toys are.
Very possible. And yeah, just like Minecraft and Roblox is like any little kids, like that's the number one thing I'm hearing asked for any little kids party that we're going to, whether it's our nephews or our friends,
Roblox Bucks,
Roblox or
B-Bucks for Fortnite.
Yes, and if they're more teenage, then it's always still said, God forbid, Fortnite.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe toys are no longer going to be part of future marketing schemes, but I don't know. I'm not a kid anymore, so it's kind of hard for me to kind of say what kids would want as far as toys goes. Because we were on the cusp where like we wanted to play games all the time, but we were in that console generation where they had a lot of like N64, Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, all that stuff. Like,
yeah, and then we came up through PlayStation and then all the Xbox generations.
Yes, so we were being coalesced through the ages of the console wars, but still, we always had time to play with like toys and stuff growing up. But now, I mean, kids are just so hammered with, I mean, especially now with computer games have really taken off. So, I mean, PC, it's like PC Master Race or nothing. Like everybody, I used to play like Dead by Daylight and things like this on Xbox. They're all PC people now. Like they do not use, they're not even a part of the console wars anymore. So, the consoles are dying and it's going to single player computer games or multiplayer computer games, but it's split screen gaming is a thing of the past. Like it used to be a thing, having LAN parties where you system linked Xboxes together and played Halo, but you're all just in somebody's basement.
Yep.
Those days are gone. So with that being said, I really don't know, but yes, tangent again. Star Wars has not been good since Disney's taken over it. J.J. Abrams lulled us into that false sense of security with the Force Awakens, and then it was just everyone after that just got worse and worse. And then there was that little glimmer of hope with The Mandalorian, and then everything else has just been absolutely trash. So, and that's just my opinion. If you enjoy the stuff that they're putting out, enjoy it. Like, I'm not taking that joy away from you. This is just my opinion. I don't get the same nostalgic feeling, that the stories and the characters, like, there are no characters in Star Wars anymore. It's just, I don't know. They describe characters like, you could just. I can't describe the characters in Star Wars now. Like they don't have any impact on me anymore. Like, and that's the thing. Stories should be able to impact you. Good stories will always be able to impact you and you'll be able to feel the narrative and you'll be able to identify with the characters. It's hard to identify with anything that Disney Star Wars has put out here lately. They're just creating as much content as they can in hopes that something will. They're throwing as much crap against the wall and seeing what's going to stick, and nothing's sticking because there's nothing of substance there.
There's no heart.
Yes, there is no heart. They've got untalented people, and I'm sure they have some talented people behind the cameras, but they just have untalented writers throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what's going to stick, and nothing is working. And they're putting in all of this woke ideology stuff in there that makes it worse. They go, this is what people want. And like, no, this is not what people want. This is the reason people are tuning out.
Yeah. Generally speaking, most of the people that they're kind of seem to be catering to, generally speaking, probably aren't even real Star Wars fans, not the diehards anyway.
No. By no means are they. I don't know. It's bad. So anyway, Elon Musk is a tangent again. Elon Musk, Gina Carano, seems like they're teaming up to take on Disney, and I hope that they win, and I hope I hope Disney loses a lot of money in this lawsuit. And even if they don't, even if Gina and Elon don't win, I hope they tie up enough losses in this lawsuit to really open their eyes and be like, hey, we need to just focus on style, and so we need to focus on substance and get the heart of Disney back into the stories instead of this ideology crap that all these people are trying to sneak in. So with that being said, that's about all we've got for you today. I know we ran a little long today, but we had some fun stuff to be able to talk about. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and we are signing off. God bless everyone out there.